Good morning, people of YouTube. Today we'll be working on an Epsom, black in color, year of manufacture 2004. Yes, with a 2AZFE engine. That's the big 2400cc naturally aspirated Toyota engine, which is found in several models, including MPVs, multiple people carriers, vehicles, crossover SUVs like the Harrier, the big giant car, the ugly car thing they call the Mark X Zio. Is it Zio or Mark X 210? Pick either and proceed. The engine is also fitted in some models of the Camry, and if it is not, I'm going to look like an idiot. But today's job. What do you do when you wake up in the morning to go attend a job you don't like and go to answer to a boss you don't even like? And you've done everything, you've had your breakfast, you've showered. But when you get to the car, you turn on the key, nothing happens, no crank. What's up? Is it the battery? Is it the starter? How do you know? So today's video, we're going to be looking in the lines of the same. This car decided not to start in the morning, not even start, not to crank in the morning. It was silent. The dash warning lights, your check engine lights, ABS, battery lights were on. So the battery was not the issue. But when the car, when the owner turned the key, nothing happened. Today's video is sponsored by the makers of this lovely Angry Bird socks. So those are our sponsors for today. If you want some nice looking socks, proceed to a shop in Kamukonji and you'll get some nice socks. Those are our sponsors, Kamukonji. So we are going to take out the starter, and anytime you're working on electrical equipment in the engine, starter, alternator, or any module, you always want to take out your negative terminal on the battery just to protect against the chance of you messing about and creating arcing, A-R-C. Yeah, A-R-C. So to prevent arcing, you're supposed to take out the negative terminal so that whatever is going on in the car turns off, so you have no power running through the car's circuit. So straight away, let's take out the starter. I'm expecting to find either gunk or worn out brushes, but let's do it. Also, I've noticed that the car's belt is not as healthy as we'd want. You can see the crackings on the belt. I've bought a new belt. We are going to be replacing that, and we're going to be looking at the tensioner as well, whether the tensioner is causing premature wear to the belt. So let's do it. So you can see a big hole at the center of your screen. That's where the starter was fitted. That's where the starter meets with the flywheel. So you turn the keys to the start position. The starter rotates or moves the flywheel, and then your pistons move up and down. And then plus with the injection of fuel and spark, your engine starts. So this is your starter motor solenoid. This is where the power from the battery gets in, and then this is your electrical solenoid, which takes power and then does some magic inside the starter. And then this gear over here, this gear is what is attached, or it is what is attached to your flywheel. So when the starter kicks in, this rotates, and consequently the flywheel rotates, and consequently further your pistons rotate, and then your engine starts. This starter, quite impressive by the way. It's the original Toyota by Denso, the OEM for a lot of electrical equipment for Japanese cars. This is the original starter for this car. This car is a champion car. It has a champion mileage, 430,000 kilometers. And 3/4 of that life has been here in Kenya, and we've never touched the starter. So you know, these were the days when car manufacturers were building cars to last, not this plasticky tin pots that we are driving nowadays. But let's dismantle the starter. I'm expecting to find worn out brushes, which are somewhere over here, or dirt. So let's dismantle it and just take a few minutes, and then we see what is wrong and do the necessary. I'm still dismantling the starter, taking apart the starter but these solenoid screws are usually very notorious. So you'll insert your Phillips screwdriver, and then instead of the bolt actually coming out, it will destroy the Phillip head. So I've taken a hacksaw, made flathead grooves. I want to try use a giant screwdriver and see whether I'm going to take them out. One barrel is out, the gear is also out. Let's take out this one as well. Wow. Do you see that? This is what I expected. All this gunk. You see gunk? All this gunk is basically the brush material. So the brushes are this shiny part that I'm tapping right now. Those are the starter brushes. So the starter works in an electromagnetic way, and before I start sounding like Albert Einstein, just know that the dirt, the gunk, from the worn out brush material was preventing good enough contact for the electromagnetic wizardry to happen. Therefore the starter was not kicking in. So that's why when you tap the starter, as I said in the beginning of the video, when you tap the starter with something, this dirt is going to fall off, and then there'll be contact at the desired location between the brush and the armature, and then you're going to have a crank. So we are going to replace, they don't look too worn out. I just think it was a case of being dirty, but let's move forward. I'm going to decide whether to replace the brush assembly or to just service it and put it back together. So after inspecting everything, I'm actually quite happy with the size of the brushes. They are not worn out. The contact is very solid. What I'm going to do, however, is clean the bits. I'm going to clean the bits, the contact points between the brushes and the armature, and also this barrel right here. It needs quite a bit of work, as you can see. So I'll use a paper towel. You can also use a very fine, what do you call them? Fine sandpaper, very fine grade sandpaper. So I haven't found a fine grade sandpaper, so I'm going to use a towel, some carbon cleaner, and I have a very coarse sandpaper here, but I'm going to lightly brush around the barrel so that it will create a fresh contact point between the barrel and the armature. So let's clean it. You have to be very careful when using carbon cleaner, because if this thing gets into your eyes, you will know what defeathered the guinea pig, the guinea fowl, the guinea fowl. Utajua kilichomtoa kanga manyoya. We finished rebuilding the starter. You can test it by hooking up the cables to the positive and earthing terminals, but I left some room for drama. I've already bolted in the starter. The battery is in. Let's go start it, see how the job came about. Drama. This is like when you slip that text. What are you doing in this weather? They are typing. So we are typing. Let's go start it, see whether we did a good job. That's embarrassing. I think the terminals have a problem. They're not tight. Let me tighten the terminals. Then we do that again. Second attempt at embarrassing ourselves. Let's go. Yes! I mean, let's do that again because it's fun, right? Smart face for the second time. So the starter is done. That was a good job. Borat. Those of you who know Borat. Borat would say, this starter is not broken. So what a piece of rotten luck. We have some piece of rotten luck. What happened? I was checking some few things, normal checks, and the radiator is almost empty. So we have a loss of coolant somewhere. So to find the leak, I'm going to pressure test the cooling system. While the car is off, so I'm going to pressure test the cooling system. And because I don't have the correct tools, I'm going to improvise. This is your normal machine that comes with your vehicle at the port that is used to reinflate tires. and it's going to have attached it to the battery, positive, negative, and then the air pressure is going to come through. This is the part where you attach to your tire and then inflate, but I've attached it to the vent hose that goes back to the cooling system. So once I put this on, it's going to blow pressurized air into the radiator, and then subsequently the engine, everywhere that coolant travels through, is going to have pressure, and then the leak is going to be discovered one drop at a time. So let's put the machine on, and then I'm going to look around. When I find the leak, I'm going to put it on video. So you can see the water pump is kaput. You can see at the center of your screen there are some droplets of water that are going down. At the center of your screen you can see some shiny droplets going down. That means that the bearing on the water pump is short, so there is side-to-side play, and the coolant is finding its way past the water pump. So I thought I'd finished the job, but we are going to have to take out the water pump and install a new one. So it rained and we had to stop work. Surprise, surprise. So it's just around 6 p.m. I'm going to try and finish the job. This thing is the water pump pulley. I'm going to take it off, and then I take out the water pump. Try to rush to whatever, get a new one. Try to do the fix and see whether we can sleep having done the job. So I'm going to pull out the water pump pulley, this thing right here. And for the Luya guys, iki kijizani hapa, iki zani, gizani. So the water pump is out after a couple of years. This side is where your belt is where your belt lies. The same belt that is around the crankshaft, AC compressor, alternator, power steering pump if your car is hydraulic type power steering. So the same belt that runs all those components will run this water pump, but not in all vehicles. Some vehicles have water pumps bolted together with a timing belt or timing belt system. So the belt rotates this, and then this side is the inside. This goes into the engine. These blades are inside the engine. This is the propeller that now pushes your water or circulates your water throughout the engine. So I'm a bit hands-on. I don't have 3 hands, but this is where the coolant was leaking from. So these blades and this wheel have to be connected, right? So there's a shaft that goes inside here, through and through, to this side. So there are bearings that hold the shaft together. So if those bearings wear out, the water pump can make grinding noises. The water pump can leak, as this one is doing, and it's also making grinding noises. And if you want to know whether your bearings are almost dead, you turn this wheel. Of course, you hold the water pump with one hand, use the other hand to turn this wheel. The same way you check the wheel bearings, that's how you know that your water pump is on its last leg. So tomorrow, I'm going to go to the shops, get this water pump, fix it, and I know our coolant issues will be done and dusted. So we bought a new water pump, some coolant. This is a concentrate I'm going to mix with water to a certain ratio. We are going to also install a new radiator cap. This is HKT. Oil filter, air filter. Now, what's the work of the silicone? Sometimes when you're installing, parts that require a new seal or a new gasket, it is discouraged to include silicone in your operations. But on this case, this is a paper gasket. Most water pump gaskets, especially from those years, those early 2000s, the cars were being made, some components had paper gaskets. So the thing with paper gaskets is they will sit over there, they'll sit on the water pump in the correct way, and then the water pump will mate to the engine block. Paper gaskets do not hold very well. They're not bad, but they do not hold very well with time. So you want to have a very thin layer of a gasket maker on either side of the paper gasket, on the water pump side and also on where the paper gasket will meet the engine block. So that's why we've bought a bit of silicone. So I'm going to install all this. I'm not going to film every step, but let me just install everything, and then after that we'll go for a short test drive, and when everything looks good, I think we'll have done the job. So immediately I'll get started. See you when the job is done. Fresh oil, fresh air filter, fresh oil filter, water pump is in, the belt is back. I've also cleaned the MAF air sensor, mass airflow sensor, because a dirty air sensor, which is most of the times just after the air cleaner, a dirty MAF air sensor will give the ECU a hard time in knowing the quantity of air, the exact quantity of air getting into the cylinder. So you always want to ensure you have a clean MAF air sensor, otherwise your short-term fuel trims will be affected, and then your consumption, will start fluctuating. So I'm just going to give this car a test drive to ascertain that the cooling system is sealed, the oil system is sealed, and then it's going to go back home. Hope you enjoyed the video. I'll see you next time, people of the internet.